Hello Spoon Universe, Mallory at KSU here. Today we are going to be making Inception Mac and Cheese. Mac and cheese is a part of everyone's childhood, at least I hope so, because it made it greater. But rather than just doing regular mac and cheese, we're going to make mac and cheese with small noodles, and then we're going to stuff it into big noodles and make that out of mac and cheese too. So it's going to be double the mac and cheese, double the deliciousness, and double the pasta, which is never a bad thing, right? What we're going to start out with today is a roux, which is when you melt down a fat. Today we're using butter. You could also use oil if you want to do dairy-free or you don't like to use butter. And then you add flour to that, and it's a thickening agent. So, we have some butter that's melting away here on our stove. And this is just 2 tablespoons. And then we're going to add equal parts of our all-purpose flour. If you want to go gluten-free, you could get a gluten-free pasta and then also use tapioca flour, or you could use cornstarch. Both work really well for thickening. And we're going to do equal parts. This is also 2 tablespoons of flour. We're going to whisk it up. Always a good way to go. And the point of whisking is to cook off the flour taste. So we're just going to whisk it until it gets a little toasty brown color.
And are you using gluten-free flour or dairy-free butter?
Nope, today it's just regular butter and regular all-purpose flour, but you can use tapioca flour, cornstarch, you can use coconut oil, vegetable oil, anything like that. Make sure you all ask questions as we go along, whatever you want to know. You can see it's bubbling away. That's what you want. The start of a beautiful roux. It's a French word. Pretty cool. It looks like rocks, but it's not. Alright. So we can smell that the flour smell is actually gone now. It's nice and toasted. So we're going to add milk. This is 1 cup of fat-free skim milk. You could use any kind of milk you like. You could use almond milk or coconut milk, but it's going to have a nuttier flavor to the mac and cheese, and if you're okay with that, then that works. Otherwise, you could use chicken stock, anything you like.
Where did you find this recipe?
I made it up myself. Mac and cheese is something I've made a lot. Grew up with it in my house. Sometimes we'd have Kraft mac and cheese, but sometimes my grandma and my mom would go all out and we'd have homemade mac and cheese. But this is a recipe I came up with just to add a little craziness to the mac and cheese. Make it a little more fun.
And for those who are just joining us, can you update them on what we've been doing?
Yes. So today we're making Inception Mac and Cheese. We're going to make mac and cheese with small shells, and then we're going to stuff it into large shells, and then make that mac and cheese as well. So we'll have double the mac and cheese. We're starting out with the roux right here. We add butter and flour, and I just added some milk to it. And we're going to bring it up to a boil. And while that is getting hot, we're going to actually grind up our cheese. So I have 6 ounces of extra sharp cheddar cheese here. And we're going to use a nice little food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you can use a hand grater. Just make sure your cheese is really cold. It will go a lot better. Otherwise, if you don't have either of those, you could just chop up the cheese into little cubes. It will just take longer to melt. All right. So it's kind of loud, but it works really well. And it's a lot faster than grinding an entire block of cheese, if you ask me. So that's our nice sharp cheddar cheese. You could use a lot of different cheeses. Pepper jack would be really good if you like something a little bit spicier. You could do mozzarella, Monterey Jack. It melts really nicely. You could do Parmesan, really whatever you like.
What kind of cheese would you suggest to a student stay on a budget?
Well, the nice thing about making this roux first is that you don't need as much cheese as you would with traditional mac and cheese. So this block of cheese was 8 ounces. It was only like $2 maybe, and we didn't even use the whole thing. So I would look for the sales. I love shopping with coupons and whatever's on sale at the grocery store. That can be a great way to do it too. But I like sharp cheddar cheese because it has a nice tanginess to it, and it really breaks up the fattiness that people think of with mac and cheese oftentimes. So my roux is boiling, and now I'm going to add a cup of pasta water. This is just the water from the pasta when I boiled it. All the starch is released into the water, so it's going to help thicken our sauce and actually adds a really nice flavor too, and helps it come together too.
And can you explain why you chose these certain noodles or why you like these the most?
Yeah, so like mac and cheese, when I think of it, I always think of Easy Mac, just being in college and that kind of thing. So that's why I chose shells. But it'd be kind of fun if you did anything. Like you could stuff spaghetti in shells. That'd be pretty cool. It's a great way to use leftover noodles too. If you make some kind of pasta dish the night before and you have leftover noodles and you want to make something new with it, if you make that mac and cheese with out of it and then make the double mac and cheese, you have a totally new dish, especially if it's something like spaghetti. All right.
And how long can you store this after you've made it?
I would use it within the first couple days. With all of the dairy involved, you don't want it to sit too long, and the sauce will start to separate after a while too. So in here I have a little bit of salt, pepper, and also some Italian seasoning. I'm just going to add that to our roux. If you're just tuning in, we've got some butter, flour, milk, and water cooking away on our stove, and it's going to be the start of our cheese sauce for our Inception Mac N Cheese.
And how hot do you have the stove on?
It's on medium-high right now. We don't want anything to burn. With the dairy in here, it's very easy for milk to burn. That's why I'm constantly whisking it to make sure that doesn't happen. But we really want it to come to a boil, so it needs to be a little hotter. This whisk is also a great thing. I first saw it on the Pioneer Moment on the Food Network. It's flat on the bottom, so it does a great job of making sure that nothing gets stuck on the bottom of your pan when you're making food, because that will just lead to burning.
If someone doesn't have a whisk, what can they use?
You could use a fork. That works really well. That's like what the whisk probably was before it was a whisk. I think it was just a fork. Works really nicely. You want it really to be able to stir it and breaking up the fat with the milk. That's what the whisk really does. It's nice. Spoon probably won't do that for you. Alright. Just going to make this a little warmer so we can get to a boil.
And can we get an overview of what the thickener is again?
Yes, so we have all-purpose flour, but you could use tapioca flour or cornstarch if you want to go gluten-free. And then we also had butter as our fat, but you could use coconut oil, vegetable oil, olive oil, anything you like. Coconut oil and olive oil have a higher burning temperature, so they will be. It's good for when you have high heat like this. But I just use regular butter and flour. That's what the traditional roux would be. So this is boiling now. We're going to add cheese. We're going to leave some of this cheese aside for topping our mac and cheese at the end before we put it in the oven. So I'm going to use about, I'd say like 2/3 of the amount that I have here. This is 6 ounces of cheese right now.
And would you say there's an advantage or a reason you're using a smaller saucepan?
Yeah, it actually goes faster when you're trying to heat up your liquid, when it's less surface area. Well, not less surface area, but it's not as big. And I'm not using as much. I also don't have a lot of pots and pans here at school, so take what I can get, and if we make a mess, that's okay, because that's part of the fun of cooking, I would say. If you're not making a mess, you're not doing it right. I think that's a saying that someone said. If not, I will copyright it, and it will be like saying. Alright. Our cheese sauce is looking delicious. And because we ground the cheese in food processor and it was really small and melted super fast, also having our roux boil before we added the cheese is a big help for that too.
What else can we do with this leftover cheese?
Well, we're going to top our mac and cheese, Inception Mac N Cheese with it. But if you have leftover cheese, grilled cheese is always a good option. You could make quesadillas, whatever you want to do. But all the cheese is going to very good use today. Alright, now that our cheese is melted, we are going to leave it right here on the stove. And as it cools a little bit, it will get a little thicker as well. So we're going to start with our small noodles. And we're going to add half of our cheese sauce to this. And then the other half will be used once we make our double mac and cheese with the large noodles. This is probably going to make a mess. Just warning everyone. I have white countertops. Oh, that was pretty impressive. I'm pretty proud of myself right now. Alright, we're going to mix this up. My friend Maddie is actually going to be coming and joining us in our mac and cheese adventures. She's one of my friends from theater, and I actually took her grocery shopping for the first time last week and helped her out with this. So if you have any questions about that, she's now a pro. One trip and she knows what she's doing. Maddie, come on. Alright, so we could just stop there with this like regular mac and cheese, which looks very delicious.
That looks so good.
We're going to make it double mac and cheese.
Hi, everyone.
This is Maddie P.
Hi, Maddie
friends.
P. Hello, Spoon World.
Yes. Who knows who's watching? They could be all over the world.
So what would you do if you wanted to make this a more thick substance?
You can add more cheese and less liquid. So we added a full cup of milk and a full cup of water. But if you wanted to just have those and double the cheese, you're going to have a really cheesy deliciousness. We are putting it in the oven, though, and topping with more cheese, and it will thicken. And once again, as the sauce sets, it will also thicken. So you kind of want to compensate with that. We don't want it to be gluey. All right, this is where it gets messy but fun. We have clean hands, and what we're going to do is take our noodle, and we're going to stuff it with our noodles, and it will be our Inception Mac and Cheese in no time. I'm actually going to start with the bottom of this. We'll lift it up real quick. And we're going to put a little bit of our sauce on the bottom just to have a base layer before we add all of our noodles.
And what's the purpose of making a base layer?
This is so the noodles don't stick at the bottom, and also we want the cheese sauce just to be everywhere around this. There we go. Yes, let's do this. Okay, you ready for it?
Yeah, I can't cook, so
Hey, you're cooking today.
I'm
cooking.
feeling nervous, but I'm feeling good.
Good.
You both have experience with mac and cheese.
Eating it,
No?
right?
Oh, eating it. I eat all the time. But no.
The fun part about college is you get to experiment. Like, why just do normal Easy Mac? After this, you'll never make Easy Mac again. Actually,
Right?
you probably will, because it's when you do something easy, it's Easy Mac. Hence the name, right? That's how it works. We're putting about a tablespoon of our mini mac and cheese into the large shells right now. Another important thing I made my noodles ahead of time, and when you do that, when they set, they will stick together. So I drizzle a little bit of olive oil and toss the noodles together. That way they're still movable and they're not sticky. And they're gonna make some deliciousness.
What occasions would you say this is perfect for?
I would do this for every day is a great occasion for Inception Mac and Cheese. We do a potluck for the theater department during Thanksgiving. This would be really good for that. Yeah, you can make stuffing or like the turkey, which is usually, I bring the turkey most of the time. Yeah. But this is something fun. Mac and cheese is always a homey feeling. Like, it always reminds me of home, and you feel good when you eat it. It was rainy here in Manhattan, Kansas today, so I think it's a good day for a little, warms your stomach, makes you feel yummy.
And I can see how this goes like a longer way than like normal mac and cheese.
Exactly.
Twice the pasta.
When we only have a pound of pasta between the two, there's about 10 ounces of the big noodles and 6 ounces of the small ones. But because we're layering them and adding it to it, you're not going to need as much, and hopefully last a little longer too. If you want it to last a little longer than a couple days, you could freeze it also, and then you have meals for days. Like if it's just one of you or a couple of you in your college houses. I only have one roommate, so we definitely utilize our freezer. And because there's only 2 of us, there's more freezer space for everyone. So we just got our first layer of our noodles done. I'm going to add a little bit of the cheese that we have left over, just because we're going to make this like delicious.
Cheesy.
Cheese. You can't have mac and cheese without cheese, you know. We'll add a little more of the sauce too.
If you want to make this more fancy, what are some good complimentary foods?
You could add bacon to this. You could also add like jalapenos and make it a jalapeno popper mac and cheese. I know a lot of people, when I was asking them about things that they remember from childhood, people said hot dogs and mac and cheese, which I never had growing up. But
I've seen that a lot, though.
You could cut up hot dogs and put that in here, render it off a little bit just by searing it in a pan or like chopping it up really fine or something like that, and add a nice crunch saltiness to this. Yeah. I like that idea.
I really like the idea of bacon.
Yeah, bacon, mac and cheese. Scallions would be good too if you like a little bit of onion in your life.
Oh, I do.
Could we also have cherry tomatoes in here?
Oh, that'd be so good. You could do like a caprese if you did mozzarella and parmesan for your cheese, and then did grape tomatoes, and then you could add basil too. That'd be so good.
That sounds delicious.
You can't go wrong. Mac and cheese, you cannot go wrong.
I have noodle inception right now.
Yeah, see, that's what happens sometimes. But because we used olive oil, they're gonna come apart nicely. Maybe if she.
I can.
Yeah, she's got it. Got this. You learned how to cook. You got this.
My mom is like a great cook, so like I never got to go into the kitchen when I was a kid. So Mal Pal is my cooking guru.
I try. I love cooking, and sharing your food that you make with your friends is like the best way to do it. I think.
And this usually comes out in bulk, right?
In bulk.
Yeah, it's shareable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not gonna freeze it or like use it, you gotta share it. That's the best way to do it. All right. So now we're gonna top this with the rest of our cheese sauce. Oh my goodness.
Yum.
no shortage of cheese. It smells really good too.
It does.
You can see the little flecks of like the Italian seasoning and the black pepper within that. Another good way to turn this up is if you add sriracha or hot sauce to the cheese sauce. That'd be so good. I'm a sriracha person.
I'm a sriracha person.
I really like it. I feel like hot sauce, like Frank's hot sauce and stuff, it doesn't do the same. It doesn't have the same kick, you know?
Yeah.
Do buffalo. Oh, you should do. Okay, if you add buffalo sauce to the mac and cheese, and then you added chicken tenders to it, and you have like a buffalo mac and blue cheese. Oh, that'd be so good.
So you can use different cheeses within the
Yeah,
same.
you should, absolutely. And then you don't ever get bored of it. I mean, like, I don't know who gets bored of mac and cheese. I never do.
Yeah.
But if you are like, I need something different, just change up the cheese, change up the noodles.
Like, I'm a pepper jack fan, so like
That'd be
I
really
would be
good.
buying
And that
pepper
melts really nicely. Okay, so here's our before. Our mac and cheese is Inceptioned. I think that's a verb. I'm gonna make it up.
It's
if
gonna
it's not.
copyright it.
And then we're gonna add the cheese on top like we did, and just put it in our oven. It's preheated to 425, and we just want the cheese to melt. That's like the only purpose of this. We did pretty good with not making a huge mess. Too.
I
I'm
know.
impressed with us. I like it. Another way you can make this recipe a little healthier if you still want it creamy but not all the cheese is adding Greek yogurt. The nice tanginess would complement the cheese sauce really well. Or you could, there's like cashew cheese and like tofu cheese nowadays too. So if you're vegan or you just want like a nice little substitute.
They come up with everything, don't they?
Everything can be made into cheese. I think that's what we need to realize. No one should be discriminated against just because of your dietary decisions or exclusions. Just because, I mean, everyone should be able to experience it, you know?
Everyone should be able to
It's a good
experience
thing.
Inception mac and cheese.
Yeah, or any mac and cheese for that matter, but especially when it's Inception. Yeah, we have Leo with us today, so our Inception is going full circle, not just in the mac and cheese, but with his presence. I think he'd approve of this.
I think
Yeah, maybe we can
think
give
this
this
is
out
all
to him. Just share it with the world. Like, Leo, you need to see this mac and cheese.
next episode, like
Yeah.
watch, he's gonna like show
He's
up
my guest.
here.
I can't promise that yet, but you never know.
I'll work
What will
on it.
happen. She's got the connection.
So Linda's asking about chili and mac and cheese and what chili would be good with that.
Yeah, chili would be really good. You could actually make the cheese sauce and add the chili to it, and then you have adding that to the pasta. I mean, I don't even know. You could do like elbow mac and cheese. I think Hamburger Helper is like has the elbow mac and cheese or something. Yeah. That'd be really good. And like and then you could add hot dog too, because then it's like a chili cheese dog.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And Jasmine said she wants to try with lobster. Is that possible?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Jasmine, wherever you are in the world, you're looking out, girl.
Yes.
And if you have the money to buy lobster,
cry.
go for it. A good way to make that longer too is if you buy lobster base and like make kind of almost like a lobster bisque to start it out. Then you have the flavored
Yes.
lobster, but you don't have to buy as much of it. Way more cost effective. And then just kind of top it with the lobster. Because I've seen lobster mac and cheese like other places too. Breadcrumbs, that'd be a good topping too.
Breadcrumbs. Oh, that would be delicious.
Because why stop at 2 carbs when you can have all of them?
All of them.
What? Yeah, have cheesy bread with this too. Just make it go forever.
And Brittany asked how we can incorporate tomato soup into this.
Yeah, tomato soup would be good too. If you did like a creamy tomato soup, maybe even with like basil or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, just add that to your cheese sauce base. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
Then it's almost like a grilled cheese within the tomato soup,
Yeah.
but pasta instead of bread. Like that's. And then if you add it with breadcrumbs on top, then it basically
it
is grilled cheese with tomato soup. You're like,
Yeah.
you're there.
You're there.
You're there. You've got it.
Childhood.
I'm so excited.
Tanea asks approximately how long did you leave it in the oven?
Well, it's still in. We're going to do about 5 to 10 minutes depending on your oven. If you have a convection setting or a broil setting, that would make it go a lot faster too. The only purpose right now is just to melt that cheese and really bring everything together. The cheese sauce will set a little bit more and yeah. Another important thing, because we are baking it, is making sure your pasta is cooked al dente, which is a little bit of a bite to it, slightly under when pasta is done, because it's going to be incorporated in this hot cheese sauce and stuff. It will still continue to cook. And you don't want mushy pasta. It's not a good thing. Mushy, no, it doesn't work. You know, like spaghetti, you'd never be able to twirl it around a fork if it was mushy.
See, but when I cook, that's what I get. Is
You
when
like
I
forget
get.
about it.
I just am not good.
You are good. Look at what. Okay.
Oh
You are good because you helped create this.
my
I'm so excited.
guys.
This is gonna be great. This is
Aspen
gonna be so good.
asked how you would incorporate Spam into this.
Spam, that's from my native Minnesota. I don't think it was actually made in Minnesota. Maybe it was. I think it actually was. Everyone always talks about it. Spam would be a good thing if you seared it off in a pan again, just almost like bacon. Then it gets kind of crispy and the fat melts a little bit, and add that to it as a topping. You could combine that with like the mini mac and cheese, and then it's like Spam mac and cheese inside of the other mac and cheese. That'd be good too. Then it's like little nuggets of little nuggets. Well, it is like a little. See, look, they're little packages.
They are
little mac and cheese packages. Okay.
And like I need portion control, so like I could tell myself like, okay, Maddie,
3.
you only can have 3 until
Or-
midnight,
and then you have another 3.
more.
Yeah, because we're eating at like 5 o'clock our time right now, so this is first dinner.
This is
It's
first
dinner
dinner,
time,
and then I have snack, and then I have
then you-
second dinner.
maybe a dessert in there, a
And
couple
dessert.
desserts. Okay,
And Peyton asked, what step are we gonna add hot sauce?
we're gonna drizzle a little bit of hot sauce on top actually, because we talked about the sriracha and I needed them.
I like it.
Okay,
Maddie, what do you think?
I haven't tried it yet.
don't burn your mouth. Be careful, y'all. You have to let it set. Okay, do you want it over everything or just over one?
I just
side?
can I just have a little
side?
Yeah, and I'm gonna dip it.
We'll do a little like design.
Wow. Okay.
You eat with
Everyone,
your eyes first.
like, just get a little.
I'm so excited.
Mm.
I literally could just eat all of this sriracha. I'm gonna.
Can't
She
do
went for
that.
the dots. I'm gonna drizzle mine over.
Both are classy. Like,
Just different kind. This is more like
wow.
avant-garde is that one, and this one's more like homey, that kind of thing. You could add ketchup too if you don't like spice. If you want a little bit of tomato in your life, it's good. And the ketchup has a nice little sweetness too that would complement it well.
And if you want a bigger kick than sriracha?
Buffalo sauce would work. You could add like a jalapeno to it.
I could see like adding, like, cutting up jalapenos and
Yeah,
adding
you're
it
chopping it
inside.
up there, or even like doing both. That's gonna kick it up. Habanero, if you want to go crazy, that's one of the hotter peppers.
Crazy.
Okay, are we eating with forks, or do you want to like go in with our hands?
You know, I kind of am wanting to just go in there.
Yeah, it's like a taco. It's like
Yeah.
a mac and cheese
Inception
taco.
Like,
You just have to.
you talk about how messy you are, and look at this.
Cheers. For those of you who don't know, that's the song in Inception. We got Leo, we got the surround sound, we got
And I'm
mac and
dying.
cheese. Oh, this is really good. This is it makes me, food just makes people happy. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. We really hope you're inspired to make this. And if you have any other ideas or recipe inspirations that you want for future episodes, make sure to comment or contact me to let me know. Thanks, Spoon Universe.
Thanks, guys.
I'm gonna keep eating now.